Hey,
Hey,
Keith, there's no music,
Artie,
no intro, no bands. It's
I
just
see that.
us.
It's just us, one-on-one, natural,
Yeah.
organic.
We're the furthest north of anybody on this show tonight. You're colder where you're at, but it's coming our way. We're supposed to get 5, 6 inches of snow tonight here in Nebraska.
Well,
So thank you.
you're welcome. And we are actually technically further north than everybody on the show too, because we're on the screen up here and they're all at the bottom.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true. Well, yeah, we can
thinking
see
ahead.
them. We can see them all. So
We can
welcome
see it, but
everybody.
nobody can.
Well, we're hopefully we'll get some guys on here pretty quick. It's kind of warming up here the night. So there's been a lot of man. There's more and more podcasts all the time, and I listened to two already tonight as I was working.
Nice,
And Guillermo Gonzalez did a good job on his with
nice.
Grant fishing with Gramps. So we're going to get going here in just a second. But this week, who do we have, Keith?
This week, you mean in the challenge, like
The
the
Yakoff jump.
Yakoffs? In the Yakoffs, we've got Gerald Smith and Austin Hoover, both representing Hobie and Bonafide.
Yeah, Austin Hoover's out of Alabama, I believe.
Yeah,
Gerald is out of, I think, Dallas, Texas. So
yeah, that
uh,
is right.
we
And
got
also another Dallas, Texas person we've got on here is maybe
yes,
not
we do.
Houston. We've got Chris Bouloir, who is the owner of Hoodoo
Yeah,
Sports, that is the bracket sponsor for this part of the Yakoffs, and also is the guy that was 100% super generous at jumping out at the opportunity to provide the kayak for the grand prize.
wow, isn't that cool? And let's bring him in. There he is,
There he is, right there.
Chris. And Chris, you are the are you kind of the new owner of Hoodoo then?
I am, yeah. I jumped in late last year.
Wow. And so how's it going so far?
It's going pretty good.
Yeah.
People keep telling me congratulations. I joke with them. I'm like, well, come check and see how things are a year in, and then we could talk about it. But it's been a blast so far.
Where did the name Hoodoo come from? Hoodoo kayaks. How'd that come about?
So it's named after like it's a geological formation, but the previous owner just kind of pulled it out of nowhere. Quite honestly,
Uh,
I think it sounds pretty cool.
It is very cool.
you've got some nice looking kayaks, man. I'll tell you what, that the fin drive
Impulse 120.
Impulse
20
120,
is
that
right.
looks like a slick looking kayak, man.
We might have to get you one up in Nebraska here pretty
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah, you bet, man. I'll cut through the weeds with that thing.
There we go.
That'd be that'd be all right. And by the way, for those who don't know, I know a lot of you guys that follow this are following this show know that we put on some events in Nebraska, and Hoodoo's helping us out a little bit this year. We're going to have a couple kayaks giveaway,
Yep.
paddle kayaks at our events. We have the first ever paddle, or it's called
The
the
doggy paddle.
yeah,
Doggy paddle.
Austin. I don't know if you'd be able to do this one because it's a doggy paddle. And I know you're in the green room yet, but I know you can hear me.
You can't bug Austin until he's into the
Yeah,
screen.
you're right. You're right. I can't. That's unfair. He can't say anything right now. And I who knows? I might get some fingers. I just can't. Chad's good at that, by the way.
No, but yeah, it's like for sure. As soon as Marty and I were chatting with Chris the other day, he's like, "I will support and help do anything for a good cause." And
Yeah,
the doggy paddle is something that Marty has rigged up here, which is awesome. Where it's a paddle only tournament,
yeah.
and no electronics, right? No
No,
motors, no
no
nothing,
pedals, no
no
electric.
nothing. And Marty's like, we're calling it for the dogs, and I'm like, no, you have to call it the doggy paddle.
Yeah, so he
This
named it.
makes sense. I
Yeah,
did name it.
yeah. It's
This
for
is
heart.
my claim to fame.
Yeah,
There
I'm
you go.
dropping. I'm dropping the mic now.
there you go. Thank you. It's for Hearts United for animals here where we live.
Yeah.
They got a couple hundred dogs out there, and it's right. The actual place is like 4 miles from the lake we're fishing. So and they're bringing some dogs out. So thank you
Yeah, very
so
cool.
much there, Chris, for doing that. So anyway, we got a duel here tonight between Austin and Gerald and Chris. You got a couple guys here that are pretty well known for their kayak. I mean, I looked at those kayaks and they are like battleships.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty impressive, honestly. I was scrolling through some of the pictures on the Yakoff page earlier. It's like, I didn't even know how you fit all that stuff on a kayak, to be honest with you.
We
Yeah.
get a lot of comments from a lot of people, and I get to read them all. And yeah, there's a lot of comments about just get a bass boat or just this or how does it float or whatever. But it always comes back to like, man, just be happy for people finding what they like to do and leave them alone. And if you don't like it, don't follow along. Like, I don't follow along. I live in Revelstoke in Canada. There's snowmobiling here that's insane and everyone loves it. And they spend $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 on these crazy snowmobiles to see who can high mark up a mountain the highest. It's not my cup of tea, but I don't comment that I don't like it. Good for them to find something they like.
Mm-hmm.
So just like let it happen. And yeah, just.
Yeah. And by the way, we're going to give away a little prize tonight, a Guardian Angel light kit. So those that are on at the end, we're going to have a little trivia question for you at the end. And the first one to answer will get that. We're not quite sophisticated with the spinning wheels and the
No, not yet.
Not yet, but we're getting there. So
come on, it's 2025. Come on, Marty.
I do have a funny story here. I got to say here, Marty, I'm going to butt in because so far I haven't said butt in on this because my mom told me I'd say it too much on podcasts.
Yeah.
But yesterday I was on with Kayak Bass Nation and we were giving away a de-hooker at the end, and there was a spin, and first one they spun it. It landed on Chad Davison, who is a great guy and everything, but he's already in the Yakoff Awards. It landed on his name. So I'm like, well, we're already sending him some, so can we respin it for the audience? Instantly, I get a text message from Chad saying, dude, I've never won anything on anything like that, and you took it away from me. So I'm like, whatever, we're respinning. Next spin, Marty Hughes comes up. And I'm like, okay, respin. So then it was again, yeah, Marty texts me, I've never won anything.
Same thing. I've been in that show for what, 4 or 5 years now. Whatever it's been, 3, I don't know. And
it was awesome.
Never have I won a prize on it. And the night I win, I'm disqualified.
Not disqualified. You regifted.
Generously regifted it.
Regifted. You're regifted.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I am not going to practice the de-hooking though, like the doctor did. No.
That's a different thing. Got to be dedicated.
I thought about, I don't know, never mind. I asked my wife if I can stick one in her arm maybe and see if she'll do it.
We will, one of these days, since D-Hooker is our presenting sponsor of this whole thing, I'll get him on one of these shows.
Oh, man.
And he will do it live, for sure. Mike, I know you're out there watching, so you're on the hook now. You're literally on the hook now.
You know, I could have used that tool last summer. We had a fellow angler. He had a gigantic hook in his leg, and I just couldn't get it out. I tried to use the string method. I couldn't get it.
Yeah.
He had to go to the emergency room. If I had that de-hooker, he'd have still been fishing.
Yeah, exactly. And saved all that money from going to the emergency room.
Yeah. So anyway.
You guys don't live in Canada where we just get hooks removed for free.
True. So Chris, anything else you got for us, Chris, before we bring these guys on?
Yes. So going back, I was curious. You were talking about just, hey, at this point, like just buy a bass boat. So me and some of the guys at our group were talking, and I'm curious kind of y'all's thoughts on this. This is kind of where like our slogan, Explore Beyond Boundaries, came up. Is like, to me, the whole point of fishing on a kayak is because you can get to these spots that these boats can't get to, right? So I'd be curious just kind of get y'all's perspective on, just being out in the kayak, out on the water, in the peace and quiet and nature, where there's hopefully not, just boats buzzing by you all the time. Would love to hear just kind of some, perspective or stories about that you guys have, because that's where, like I said, kind of we're hoping to come from, and I'm sure we're not unique in that. Like that's what draws people to kayak fishing. But we'd love to kind of hear what y'all think.
And I think that's a great opportunity for us to bring in Gerald and Austin, and as two professional anglers here, and Marty as well. And you guys give us your thoughts on that whole, why don't you get a bass boat thing? I think I might actually go to GoDaddy and buy the domain, get a bass boat. Go get a bassboat.com.
Well, we know you're putting on a show down south, Chris, and I hope it goes well. Where's that show at?
Do what?
Where's your show at?
this
We'll be
weekend.
at Houston Fishing Show all weekend. Yeah. So if y'all are in Houston, come and see us.
All right. Anybody down today? Hoodoo will be there, and we look forward to having you back again here, Chris. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'll have you on. I'll have you on one of mine so that we can go over for the stuff we're doing here in Nebraska as well. How about that? So.
Oh yeah, I would love to talk more about the doggy paddle.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. And wait before we switch to these guys. For first, I'll be at the Pacific Northwest show this weekend in Portland. So if you're around walking around there, look for me. I'm the guy that looks like this. Come say hi. And also, Marty, why don't you tell Chris about what you and I decided Chris is giving away with the 23-inch competition.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry to keep you guys waiting there, Austin and Gerald. One more thing.
Yeah, and Chris, sorry, I forgot to tell you about this, but
y'all are just
giving away another kayak.
Stuff. That's
about I don't know, 3 months ago. I don't know. I put a post out about the quest to catch a 23-inch bass in Nebraska. I asked if anybody else had caught one. There's been guys that say they hold one up. It looks like it's 18 inches. Oh yeah, it's just 23.
Hold it closer to the camera, right?
Yeah. And so no one has caught a 23 in live competition in Nebraska since I've been kayak fishing 28 years ago. And but the longest has been a 22 and a half. I've caught that in a live online competition, not live. Our biggest bass in a live competition is 21.5 or 21.75, I believe. If anybody catches a 23 this year in a live competition in our events, Chris with Hoodoo is going to let them pick any kayak they want off their website, right?
Done.
So, go.
You just heard about this, so yeah. Done.
Amazing. That's an amazing offer, you guys. So there's got to be one out there in Nebraska in one of our events. You never know.
It's got to be a live event, though, right?
Live event anywhere in the country, or what are
it's a live event in our events
that Marty's putting on.
Yeah,
Marty's events.
Yeah. If I did all over the country,
I was gonna say that's
someone will get that. You might be out a few kayaks,
but it's good. It's a good challenge, but I'm going to fish as much as I can to find that 23 somewhere in Nebraska. I know it's here, but just a matter of finding it. So anyway, we want to thank you for that, Chris. It's a pretty cool challenge.
I'll come personally deliver it too.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's going to be big news here in Nebraska if somebody gets it. I can tell you that. So
perfect. I want to be there.
Yeah, we'll have a news station, the whole works, man. So anyway,
maybe it'll be a new version of like the Impulse 123.
There you go.
I don't know. I might not be able to do any more podcasts with you guys if y'all are just going to keep giving away our kayaks.
Well, we just know you can't say no when you're live. So
no, exactly.
I know I'm going to get a text after this, but my phone's dead. So oh well.
Sure.
We got to get these guys on.
Yeah, let's get these guys on. Sorry for making you wait, boys.
That first question. So, Chris, thank you for being here. We appreciate you, and we'll be talking to you soon. Thanks, man.
Absolutely.
All right. Bye. There they are. All right, guys. Can you guys see them? I know they're kind of
all good.
We had to fit 4 guys on this along with our bracket. So we got Austin. You're at the top there. I want you to introduce yourself here, everybody.
I'm Austin Hoover. I am just a kid. Like y'all see in my bio, I just like fishing and specifically fishing out of a plastic boat. So nothing too special about me.
Are you sure about that? You've been catching a lot of big fish lately.
I will actually butt in here. Like the other day, I was texting you about something, Austin. Was it on the weekend?
No, you called me.
Yeah. I called you and you didn't answer, and he hung up. And then I was saying you had to submit something, and he's like, sends me this.
I was actually on the phone with him, and I was going down as a 6.5 pounder.
Yeah, and it says
on the phone.
Thanks for the good luck. And I was actually shoveling snow.
Yeah, he called me. He's like, "Hey, can I use some of this video?" And I said, "You can use whatever you want." And then about 15 seconds after saying that, I hook into a good one. So
yeah, sweet,
nice. That
was a good day. That was the first one I pulled a dirty 30 on that one. So that was a good day.
Wow.
I'm about to start calling Keith every time I go fishing.
Oh, then I'm gonna hear from you every day.
That's fine. I don't fish every day. I wish.
Yeah.
Well, we also got Gerald. Gerald out of Texas. Gerald?
Hey, Gerald Smith. I'm fishing out of Texas, as I said, the Dallas Fort Worth, Plano, just right north of Dallas, Texas. And all I can say is I found out about kayaks online, and I never in a million years could have imagined I would have been floating in little boats. I grew up fishing from banks and wading creeks and john
Sweet.
boats, and honestly, I had no clue what kayak fishing even was until the first time I saw it. And then it has been the most obsessive takeover I've ever had in my life.
That's awesome.
I love that. That's a great.
Yeah, man. And living in a place called Plano, like that's awesome.
Yeah.
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 So
Now-
I have a question, Gerald. Sorry, Marty, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Ask your question.
I was just going to say, Gerald's handle is 3 the hard way.
Yeah.
And I want to know what's the story there? What's going on?
Yeah. That was
So
my.
it has like a lot of meanings that have came together, but I know when we had our first conversation, I'm a chef, and I went to one of the best culinary schools in the world. I've worked in a few of the top 10 rated restaurants on the planet, and in working in fine dining restaurants, Michelin 3 stars is the highest achievement that you can ever receive.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where it started. And then life just started making weird connections of 3s throughout my life. And this is the social media handle that I've always had. And
Sweet.
it's kind of unique and easy to remember for a lot of people.
Nice.
And then Austin, what are you up to these days?
I make a fat man look good on TV, and then I fish when I'm not doing that.
Oh man, that's good. Oh my!
Uh,
Wow, that's good.
Went from being a commercial electrician to videoing, and now, like I said, if I'm not filming him, I try to go out and test my own skills.
That's good. So we got you guys on here. What we're gonna do, and by the way, those that are still on here, or spread the word, or share this. We're going to be giving away a prize tonight. That light Guardian
Angel kayak light kit. So it's a really cool. For those who don't know what it is, Guardian Angel started as actually like working with police officers and paramedics and all that kind of like first responder type things, and they have these wicked lights that are magnetized that go the bow and the stern of your kayak, and they're super easy to install, remote controlled. They've actually been so nice to send a set to everyone that's all of the anglers in the Yakoffs, and they're going to keep one, and then on their own channels they're going to give one away to their audience. So
that's nice.
They're pretty cool. Check them out on Guardian Angel. Yeah.
Well, hang in there, guys, with this show, and at the end you can win a pretty nice Guardian Angel light kit. That's pretty cool. So anyway, what I want to do next though is I want to play like a 30 to 45 second segment of each of your guys' video so people can kind of see. Okay, so let's see this one here.
What's up, guys? Welcome to today's video.
What
we're going to do
real nice for when it comes to just taking it off and putting your truck. It's quick, easy, but still secure. One thing I love about this plate is not only does it use the inserts like that come stock, but underneath this motor about midship, I'll show a little B-roll clip of it. There's 2 through bolts with like a backing plate, so it just adds that extra security and extra reinforcement, so you don't have to worry about those inserts popping out. But to power the XI3, we got a Marinco 70 plug. These are the best we have found so far for lining up. You just use 2 prongs and you just got to match them up throughout the boat. But also on this Marinco is a new product from Ketch. It's a gasket that fits this Marinco. A lot of people don't realize that, come up here to me, a lot of people don't realize is these plates, they kind of have some curvature to them, and the regular plate on the Marinco is kind of stiff.
Okay. Anyway, man, I can't imagine. You got to see that whole thing. That's how did you come up with all this, Austin?
I don't really know. I just kind of sat down and was like, I want to get crazy with it just because now it doesn't sound as crazy because it's out there, but I wanted to show people that you're not limited when you're in a kayak. Obviously, some of the best fishing you can do in a kayak is strip your boat down to nothing. Literally take 2 rods. You don't even need a black pack really. But just to show you're not limited, you can go to the farthest extreme, or you can stay as simple as you want. And I just kept going and going.
Wow. So here's Gerald. Oh man. Oh, look at that.
Cast my line, reeling in the fate, bait on the hook. Life's heavy.
Inside my bucket, 100 amp Smart Force from Mariner Sails in Dallas. Keeps everything on my boat going strong all day. My lights, my phone, my graphs, my live scope, everything is running off this one 100 amp battery.
100 amps. Jeez.
Scale, bilge pump, retractable dog leash.
Oh, man.
Inside the hull, I have a Tim Percy plate. On my plate, I keep the FPV power distribution hub. That allows me to mount all of my electronics directly into it and control everything with a switch. A few of them are constant on, which I use for my graphs.
Wow.
Black box for my live scope as well.
Wow.
Up front, I got a Rogue tether for anytime I need.
Wow, guys. This is
You both probably have a Rogue tether on those 2 kayaks.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure.
I don't go without them. The
Yeah,
ADS,
those are awesome.
adjustable drag shaft.
Yeah, that thing comes in so handy.
Yeah.
Like just yanking it up over something just even a little bit.
Yep.
Like I think a lot of people think you need to have it to just get in the shallows and drag it for a mile, but it comes in handy in everything. Kind of situation.
Dragging in a river, loading it up on if you've got a trailer, all of it.
Everything, giving you that leverage just over a log or whatever you're doing.
It's got that nice handle in it, so it stays open. It's not like a rope, and then as you pull it, it's squeezing the crap out of your hand. So yeah. Thanks, Mark and Rogue.
Yeah, exactly.
Huh. But now, if you're on a shallow river and you're trying to walk with these things, what's that like?
I mean, just grab it and go.
I'm fishing in East Texas. I wouldn't know.
You don't go chase Guadalupes every now and again?
Not in PA.
Okay. Yeah. I don't use my power to go down the river either.
Yeah.
Nice.
So what you guys have rigged up, is it more practical to use it in a bigger fishery, like a big water, or do you guys still fish a lot of small waters with it?
I fish small waters, open water. Yeah, I pretty much fish everything but like moving water. So
same. And I can be the first one to tell you there's nothing practical about it. I don't know about Austin, but it just got this way because it can, and I want to see if it can.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to sit here and try to tell you that any of this is helping me catch more fish.
Yeah, it reminds me of when I was a kid. In a neighborhood, everybody built a go-kart, and they'd take the lawnmower wheels off the lawnmower, and then pretty soon the go-karts didn't have any power, and pretty soon guys were putting motors on them. It's the same thing all over.
Yeah.
But that's the same thing, to each their own, right? Like, let people do what they like to do. Like, go get a Jeep and go in off-road racing and put massive tires, and that's your thing. Go have fun and do it.
Right.
I'll say mine's. Go ahead, Marty.
No, go ahead. It's all right.
I'll say mine is kind of the way it is because I love offshore fishing. You know, you've got big fish shallow throughout the year, and you can, find big fish shallow. But personally, my own belief is the mass majority of your bigger fish stay offshore most of the year. Obviously, different fisheries, and like you go to Guntersville. Guntersville, you could go probably catch a 10-pounder shallow 365 days a year. But there's just certain fisheries, you fish a Highland Reservoir, whatever, your bigger fish are deeper. And that's what kind of my boat was set up for is to go offshore and to be efficient with it. Like I've got the Yakoff rod stager and all that good stuff, and just being efficient while offshore. Because obviously, if all the people who fish offshore know that those fish get in finicky moods and all that good stuff. And so that's just kind of how I got to where I was.
Wow. I'm on the Mariner sales team, and when you spend time in the kayak shop a lot and you start seeing the builds people are doing, and then you're like, hold on, they did that because of this, huh? I
Yeah.
wonder how that will work. And then, this obviously was not an overnight process.
Yeah.
This was, I added one graph, and then I added a second, and then I added a live scope, and then you get beat to your spot one day, and then your next spot's blown, and then your next spot's blown, and you're like, dang it, I need a motor now.
Yeah.
And then you wake up and you have a $20,000 kayak. But I'm a shallow fisherman. This boat has really taught me fish activity. Like, a lot of people come to me, especially in the forward-facing argument, and I can tell them that the most important thing that forward-facing sonar taught me is that a lot of the things that we've always thought are not always true. Fish aren't over there. Why aren't they over there? Because it's this time of year and this and this. Okay, let's go look over there. Oh, there's fish here. Or the way the way things slide in and out of pockets and up and down shelves, and it helps you, in my opinion, more as a search and learning tool than video game fishing. I also fish for crappie, and I do have a bass boat. So I've set it up where I can go back and forth, and that's where my live scope originally came, was crappie fishing. Nice. And now live scope for crappie fishing, that's a whole different argument. It's amazing.
Yeah. Gerald, that's so cool how you just said that, like when you started talking there, how you didn't know you needed this, or you wonder how someone did this, or that's the entire reason why I wanted to kind of start the Yakoffs, because we can all learn from what everyone else is doing and apply it to how we fish in our own waters. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly it. That's awesome.
That's what kayak fishing is, ain't it? It's build to suit. It's there's no one kayak out there that's the same as
like Marty always says, he's got a Swiss Army knife, and build your own Swiss Army knife, but bring in what everybody does, be it wherever they are in the world and whatever waters they fish, bring that in so you can apply it to make your time on the water more fun and more enjoyable.
Yeah, and me and two of my buddies that I fish with, we've had the same exact kayak, but all three of our kayaks are completely different. And we fish together. We fish the same lakes. We fish the same boat, and we all will tell the other one that what you're doing isn't the thing you should be doing.
Yeah, well, and that's also a really cool point about kayak fishing in general. I can go fishing with some buddies in kayaks. I can do what technique I want that I think is going to work for me. They can be 5 feet away or 10 feet away doing what they think. And then we'll figure out who's the better fisherman, really. When I'm fishing out of a motorboat with 3 or 4 guys and we're trolling, we're all doing the same technique. And if I want to switch up that technique, okay, we're not catching anything trolling, let's start jigging, or I'm up in the mountains of British Columbia too, right? So it's a bit different. But in that boat, you're doing one technique or the other, and you're in that confined space with those guys. It's like, this is what's happening. You can't be doing your own thing, but in the same group. So cool.
Everybody fishes different. Everybody's the way they want to fish, how they fish. Some people get locked into like, I want to catch it this way, I want to catch it that way, versus let me just figure out what the fish are biting. So,
yeah, but that's what I'm saying, Austin. So in a boat that's
you're pretty much doing what the
guys. Yeah, whoever's usually the captain of the boat until you say like, dude, you're not catching us anything. But with kayak fishing, you get to do your own thing and be your own captain.
Yep, I did that literally. What day is today? I don't even know what day it is. Today's Tuesday. So Sunday, I took one of my buddies out from Nashville to a lake here, and I was doing one thing, and he went off and did one thing, and then next thing you know, he caught almost an 8-pounder, and I'm only catching 3s and 4s.
That's the very reason that fishing next to me, not on top of me, but next to me, doesn't really bother me. We're not doing the same thing, most likely.
Confidence in what you're doing.
You're going to catch your fish. I'm going to catch my fish.
Yeah.
For sure.
There's a difference today. When I started kayak fishing, I got made fun of, by the way, for being in a little plastic boat. But this is a long time ago. But more people came to me because they were curious to what I was doing. Nowadays, it's like, I'm going to be honest with you, I think more people come closer to us because they know we're catching fish out of them and they want to catch them too. Would you agree or disagree?
Absolutely.
For sure.
At least here, I got cut off by a bass boat in the middle of a tournament. I'm throwing a white spinnerbait. He's throwing a white spinnerbait, and he catches a 7-pound fish 10 yards in front of me because he saw me catching fish.
Yeah. And I mean, to me, it's like you find a way to get underwater, and this is one way. Not that it matters, but what's the reaction of people in boats when they see you come by with this gigantic kayak with all these gadgets on it, and the only thing you're missing is a turret. And you go by. What's been some of the reactions you get in your boats?
I've
And they're
had.
always the same.
Go ahead, Joe.
Oh, everyone I've ever had is always the same. And it's, man, you sure do got a lot of stuff on there, and that thing sure looks expensive. And I don't know about going out in deep water and that little thing. And
How you not flip that?
yeah, how you don't flip it? And
That's the number one I get. How's that thing not just flip? Well, it's got 2 pontoon style holes. Blah 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 blah.
yeah,
Wow.
I'm like, I always
That's
tell them,
awesome.
like, I'm 6'2", I'm a big dude. I got a loaded down kayak, and I'm not worried.
No, never.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty cool. How
Or you
fast,
might as well get a bass boat.
yeah,
Might
how
as well.
fast can you guys get going?
I've got an XI3, so I've got the turtle of motors. It's
Okay.
about 4.5.
So you're not worried about getting there fast.
No, I'm not. I've got a Torpedo too. The Torpedo will get about 6.8 on tournament load. So
I have the Newport Vessel NK300. The fastest I've ever hit was 6'2", completely loaded.
Wow.
But
I would just
honestly,
like-
there's a diminishing return to me in that you can go that fast and kill your battery quick.
Yeah.
And do you really need to go 6 miles an hour?
Yeah. Well,
You're going to beat most people at
Yeah.
4.5, 5.
Yeah. If you got a stern mount and you're going against some bow mounters, you'll be there first. The bow mounters, you sacrifice speed so you can sit on a spot. So it's give and take.
yeah. For me, I'm in an Outback, you guys. But my main purpose for a motor when I I'm fishing these national tournaments is I want to get there first to a spot. So that's the use for my motor. And if I want to leave that spot and go somewhere else, then
You may have a milk run for the day that you just
Right.
need to hit.
Right. But for the most part, I'm just using my pedals as my spot lock, where you have the spot lock, Austin. So we all have our own purpose for the motor. Some guys just like to just cruise all around the lake.
Yeah.
I mean, like Drew Gregory goes through 4 batteries because he's going full bore to get somewhere far, far away from everybody. That's what he does. And some guys, they have the spot lock and they're going to go 200 yards from the ramp and that's where they're going to fish,
And that's the same thing, to each their own, right? And you do what you think. And for now, Marty, you're in an Outback, but pretty soon you're going to be an Impulse 120 Hoodoo, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. As soon as it arrives, when it gets, but we got to get past these snowstorms first.
And I would also love to say that you guys keep throwing out all these brand names because it's going to be awesome for Yakoff Part 2. I love the brand recognition out there. It's awesome.
So Austin, how were you nominated for this and what was your process?
Keith called me and then was like, "Hey, we're gonna do he kind of explained it like March Madness bracket. We're just gonna start here, then it's gonna neck down, and then he was like, "Would you be interested?" I said, "Heck yeah, I'll be interested." And then now we're here.
Cool. And then what about you, Gerald?
It was basically the same thing. Got contacted by James from Hobie.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little weirder for me personally because I am not with Hobie anymore. So it was kind of right on the edge of making a transition to actually be Austin's teammate now.
So what
Gotcha.
are you in? I thought you were in a Hobie.
So my submission for this tournament was done the last month of me owning a Hobie.
Oh, okay.
And I am with Bonafide Fishing.
Okay. So if we were to ask people tonight what kayak you're in, we're just going to ask what kayak you entered. That's what we're going to do, maybe. So
yes,
if we were to ask that,
that's
question.
Well, technically, I am kayakless until the 18th. It's on its way.
Hey, that guy in the upper corner there owns a kayak company.
Well, I have also a unique situation being
and he just throws them around like he's like Oprah. He's like, "Here's a kayak for you. Here's a kayak for you. Here's a kayak for you."
Man, being a Mariner sales team member does have extreme benefits because I can go down and talk to Duke and get a loaner kayak.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Whenever necessary.
I mean, that's like walking around naked without a kayak.
It's very weird to go in the garage and not see a kayak.
Yeah.
What'd you go with? Power or XTR?
XTR. I'm big.
Nice. Wow.
More space for activities.
Oh yeah. I just picked mine up yesterday, so
that's all.
Yeah, I saw that too. It's funny how everybody knows what everyone's up to.
Oh yeah.
The kayak community is big and small all at the same time.
every community.
What do you guys think about this? You know, when we fish tournaments and you're doing pretty well in a tournament, people look at the leaderboard and they go, "Oh man, he's got 95 inches." And you know, each of us has our own like things that we like to throw. Do you guys ever do that? Like, you know that Chad Hoover's throwing a frog over there, he's catching bass. So do you switch up? Not seeing them, but do you ever switch up, or do you stay with your confidence?
I stay with my confidence.
Okay.
I tell people, like, I don't really fish a lot of live tournaments just because I help host some of them, and
Mm.
I'm just busy and all that good stuff. But if you put the same amount of energy worrying about what somebody else is doing into trying to figure out what the fish are doing for you and on the
Mhm.
body of water, you'll figure something out.
Mhm.
It's that simple.
That's great. That's great stuff right there.
It
You
is,
take
except until you get to that last like hour and a half. You're like, okay, screw it, I'm going for it. I'm going
Yeah,
to
I
switch
mean,
it up.
all fishing is just constantly being
Yeah,
adaptive and constantly changing with the things. And if you're taking time to, oh, what is he doing? What is that doing? Or, oh,
yeah,
I saw him boat up over there. If you just take the time and say, you know, you're not just out there wandering. I see too many people, they're just out there, they're just wandering, and they're not making,
Mhm.
um, conscious decisions in what they're doing. If you're constantly making conscious decisions, just it's basic math. You're gonna run into something eventually.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah,
Well,
that's something that takes time, definitely.
Oh yeah.
Like, I've only been tournament fishing now for this would be fifth season, and being in Texas with a lot of the,
Hammers.
like you had
Yeah.
mentioned Guillermo. Like, Guillermo's my teammate at Mariner, and so is Wesley, that's also in the Yakoff, and
Mhm.
Larry Hill, and just tons of real nationally known hammers. And in the beginning, it was, man, Larry's got 3 chatterbaits in 3 different sizes tied on, and
Mhm.
Guillermo's cranking, and you're just sitting there thinking, oh man, they got all these inches. You don't have any inches. You need to do what they're
yeah,
doing. And then at the end of the day, you got one fish because you kept switching, and you just kept switching to things you have no confidence in.
yeah,
And you start learning, do what you do.
yeah.
And even if that is junk fishing, junk fish the way you junk fish.
Junkfish. Yeah, that's great advice, man.
All right. So we're going to go to this next part of the show where Austin and Gerald, we're going to ask you, why should people vote for your kayak? And I'm going to do odd or even, Gerald.
Odd.
Can you see it? It's odd. You get to go first or second. You choose.
I'll go second.
Okay. So, Austin, why should people vote for you?
This is your Miss America moment
Yeah,
right here,
I don't know
dude.
why.
Yeah. Why should they vote for your kayak?
I don't really know, honestly, why you should vote. I mean, because like I said, it's to me, it's how I fish. Like, if
Yeah.
you put Chad in my boat, he would have an absolute mental breakdown. Like, his mind would blow up because it's just not how he fishes. It's
Yeah.
not his style
Yeah.
of fishing.
Yeah.
It's not. So my boat is built for me. That's it. So
Yeah.
if
But I
you're
would say
if you're an
I was
offshore fisherman and you love, the bow mount side, I've taken a lot of time and sat down and said, how can I be as efficient as possible? How can I be as comfortable as possible? How can I be, just the best angler? And this is the product that I've come up with. So if there was something to say why, that would be wise. I spent a lot of time in, being efficient while on the water, and how it's laid out is that way.
And I'm gonna,
and the
go
sorry,
ahead.
Marty. What I was going to say is it's not really about is your configuration and rigging and boat better than Gerald's. It's about what have you done to make it yours that's cool that people
Exactly.
can take
Yeah.
from that and
Some people,
understand. So like my ideal results from all this stuff is taking a bit of what you've done, a bit of what Gerald's done, a bit of what Marty's done, whoever, and applying those things to their own style of fishing and getting
sure.
that to make them have better times in the water. So they're not saying I'm voting for this because it's got the coolest gadgets and stuff. No, it's like, what did he do to make his fishing the most efficient?
I got some people that hate my kayak. Like, they think it's diabolical that I've put what I've put into it and all that good stuff.
And that's kind of what I mean too, is that why would I want to vote for your kayak? What is it that makes it that it's going to be efficient? What is it that helps you catch fish?
Yeah.
Things like that. Because if you got in my kayak, Austin, it'd probably blow your mind, you know?
Yeah.
No, I've fished from simple as it can get. I mean, I fish out of an RVR that literally has a black pack on it and 3 rods.
For sure.
Oh,
But that's why it's not, you're not voting for his kayak, you're voting for what Austin has done to his kayak and
Right.
what you have learned from this competition
There
that
you
you can apply to your own. So that's how you should be voting, not just like
Mhm.
for the boat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think there's a such thing as the best kayak out there because everybody's different.
Yeah, 100%.
You're right. And now let's go to Gerald and Wes.
Yeah, you're up, Gerald.
Gerald.
So now I agree with what he just said. The first thing that people ask me when they ask what kind of kayak I should get when I do shows with Mariner Sales, I say, well, what are you going to do with it first?
Number one question.
So with that said, there is no perfect kayak, but this is a competition.
So yours
So-
is perfect.
If you look at my boat, follow, my fishing journey on socials, you will see a kayak that I believe has taken some of the best parts from 5, 6, 7 guys that have walked a Bassmaster stage, that have won Hobie BOSs, that have won KB, that have won everything that you ever will want to win.
Mhm.
And I took pieces of their knowledge and talking to them and seeing the way they do, and I believe I put it into my boat in a pretty good fashion, where
Sweet.
if you're trying to tournament fish and you're trying to cash a check and find fish, you can get in my kayak and you can do it. And if you want to replicate it,
Mhm.
I don't think there's something in my kayak that you would be looking for more.
Mhm.
Nice. That's
Nice.
awesome.
I do want to say this, guys. Do you know what it's like to sit in a kayak with your butt in the water,
Oh
not
yeah.
in the water, but in a kayak in the water, and have itchy butt the entire day?
Swamp
No.
butt.
Swamp
do.
butt. For like years and years, I did that,
Oh, yeah.
man.
I've been like I've been doing this for 20 years. So
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I-
You were. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was forced into a kayak when I was in a kayak when I was I got my first one when I was 4.
Yeah.
And that's I can remember paddling in that. I can remember struggling.
Yeah.
You ain't got very much muscles at 4, and then you're trying to keep up with a guy who's been paddling his whole life.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What? How?
I have
how-
my fair share of sitting on where you're sitting on the boat. You're not sitting in this nice luxury,
Yeah. Right.
lazy boy of a seat.
That's what I was going to ask you guys. But first, how old are you now?
I just turned 25. Yeah.
25. So you're a couple years older than my son. He same thing. He started. He was real little.
Yeah.
CJ, and tried to pat. And he did a pretty good job too. When the wind came up, though, it got pretty tough. But what I'm saying though is we started with our butts in like on the plastic pretty much, and now we've got these seats that a lot of people have no idea what it was like back then.
Mhm.
How do you feel about your seat in general compared to that?
I mean, I love it. I mean, it used to be you go out and 2 hours in, you're like, God, I'm ready just to get off the water, and you can't even enjoy the fishing part because you got swamp butt and your back hurts. And
Yeah.
now I've gone out 15 hours straight, and never one did I ever go, man, my back's kind of hurting. I want to get out. I need to go to the bank. I just went, man, that was quick 15 hours. I'm
This,
Yeah.
this
Still
feels
ready
like
to
this feels like a good plug for Kayak Cushion.
I was
kayak-
just about to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do each of you have a kayak cushion?
I've got 2.
Dude, yeah,
I got one.
knew it.
I got
knew
one
it.
on the.
Hold on.
I got
I'm
one on the
sitting
butt
on one
and the
right
back.
now
Okay. How about
in my office
So is
chair.
Marty.
I'm sitting
So
on
is
one right
Marty.
now.
I guarantee it. Look at this. There's our next sponsor for sure.
Brandon, are
I'm
you
only sitting
watching?
on one. I've got one in
Yeah.
the office here.
I've been lucky enough to be in most of the boats, and I haven't personally came across a bad seat. Like I do hear a lot about when we came up, the seats are garbage. I haven't personally came across a bad seat. Now, some need some tweaks, some might need a little riser, but
Right.
I'm also tall, so a lot of kayak seats I think should have a little bit more height for me personally. And then you slap a kayak cushion in there, you're good.
Well, the one you're about to
Sweet.
get has got plenty of.
Yeah. Have you ever forgotten your kayak cushion?
They
And
don't
then
come
go-
off.
Yeah, no, mine stay. Mine
They
are
don't
strapped
come
on.
off.
Yeah, they don't. They're strapped, and
Well, reason why I take mine off because I was driving down the road with Richie McMichael from Gunnersville one time, and his flew off his kayak. I go, I am never going to put mine in my kayak.
I did have to sit in a wet kayak cushion at Sam Rayburn last year,
Oh
though.
man, That'd be,
Left it out overnight. Left my seat up.
yeah. I always put mine away. Always. But anyway, so so far everybody's had a kayak cushion, so Brandon should be pretty happy about that there.
I think you should go fishing with that one.
Yeah.
I think it should be against the law.
I tell people all the time the first thing you should buy is a kayak cushion.
There you go. There you go. All right. Eugene Darling says he needs a riser in his. Have you guys, like, some guys will modify their kayaks and put their seats up higher on purpose. Have you done that?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
My first boat was a SS 127 Bonafide.
Oh, yeah.
I added either 2 or 3 inches. And I've also owned a Old Town Sportsman. I added 2 inches. Definitely, if you're tall, it takes a lot of stress off the knees. Give you a better angle.
How tall are you, Gerald?
6'2".
I'm 6'4".
Definitely risers are always good.
But I'm in Canada, so I shrink a little bit when I go out. It's cold.
I don't know what that is in centimeters.
6'4" centimeters? No, I meant. So we do centimeters on some things and inches on other things and feet on other things.
I spent a lot of time in your neck of the woods. I'm originally from Seattle.
Oh, there you go. I'm actually going to Portland on Thursday.
That's not Seattle.
It's close enough. I gotta go.
I will argue that.
How about Chris? You got any more questions, Chris? You've been sitting there pretty quiet.
No, I'm just soaking it all in.
Good.
I would be curious though. So I'm a bit of a novice kayak fisherman myself, even though I do own a kayak company. So let's say you have a kayak and you're given $1,000. What do you spend it on first?
Oh, good question.
$1,000.
Graph.
What, like, yeah, do you have, like, accessory wise, or?
It's bare bones.
Bare bones.
Well, first one is going to be a black pack. I mean,
If it's bare bones, I would say a paddle so you can move.
so black
The
pack.
only time my paddle gets used is
It's
when I
gotta
push off the bank and push onto the bank.
What's that?
Sorry,
Say again,
Chris?
It starts with a paddle seat drive. So then where do you go?
Okay.
Yeah.
Good question.
Black pack for storage.
Austin, come on, man. You got to
Kayak.
say the right thing first. PFD,
Oh,
get
PFD.
on the water.
Yeah.
Of course. Always wear your PFD.
Yeah. Plug.
I mean, I'm buying a graph. And then probably a kayak cushion. And then a black pack.
Okay.
That's not yeah. If you put a graph in there, that's going to eat up most of your. So a graph, a cushion, and that would be your 1,000 probably.
There's an idea from Jennifer Solberg of a kayak wraps over the front of your seat because she sits up in the front, like I don't quite understand.
Oh, yeah, because she's leaning forward all the time, yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Turn it sideways, maybe.
Jennifer's out of
A
Nebraska.
little longer than a little wider.
And so, Chris, your question for me is totally front-loaded because, like, $1,000 Canadian is going to get me a kayak cushion. That's about it.
It depends on what the exchange rate is, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it goes a
It's
little
not good right now.
Let's hear about your greatest catch, Austin. Greatest catch.
10-3 last year.
Nice.
Yep, and it was kind of a special catch other than just the fact that I caught a double digit. I had my dad there, and then I had my best friend there, so I had the two best fishing partners that I could have.
Yeah.
And they both got to video it as a second angle or second and third angle on top of the angle that I had, and so it was just a special moment to not only just catch a fish of a lifetime, but to have the two people that I've fished the most with and enjoy the most time with in life and everything. So.
Is that the one you cut to in your video?
Yeah.
Wow.
So a lot of that video is brought to by my buddy Kalen and then my dad Chad. So
Yeah,
it couldn't get any special, and it's on my favorite fishery, and the fishery was my favorite before I caught that and stuff, and so it's just everything combined just made it that that memorable of a catch.
We'll help get that catch out there. It was very cool, and it's like just so natural when you like set that hook, and and it was like instead of like being a showman or explaining everything that's going on then around you, you're like, oh my god, it's my PB for sure.
Yeah, what made it so special was we fished all night. It was in the summer, and we night fished for probably got there at 9 or 10, and then fished all the way to daylight, and it was slow that day. And And so it just, when you're struggling and then you get to not only catch a fish, but your PB and a 10-pounder,
That was good. Yeah.
But the best part of it is when you netted it, and in the background you can hear your dad saying, "That thing's got net shrinkage, I bet."
Yeah. Well, I think this. I don't know how I edited. I don't remember. I said, "This has got to be my PB." I think he said, "There's no way," because you're out there sucking it up. There's that's not the day you catch your PB.
Yeah.
You catch your PB when you're on fire, and then ended up being 10.3 pounds.
Wow. What
How
about
about you, Gerald?
Yeah.
Mine is a little not necessarily like because it was the coolest fish. Because like I had mentioned, I didn't grow up bass fishing. Like I don't know anyone that ever bass fished as a kid. So when I moved to Texas and they're like, "What's your PB at the time?" And I'm like, I don't know, 4 pounds. It's like, yeah, but I've got like more 22-pound salmon than I can even like think of, and for halibut the size of your front door. But Lake Caddo this last year, we had some extracurricular activities the evening before that I don't normally, partake in. Only got about an hour of sleep. We didn't set up camp. I didn't want to be there in the morning. We waited till the sun came up because I was like, I don't feel comfortable around alligator water right now. And we're cruising, and I'm laying back, and I'm just like dying inside. And I've cast, and my third cast, I hook up on a 6-pounder. In this, we're in cypress trees. The sun's just coming up, and anybody that's ever fished Lake Caddo, I've never fished anything that I think is even on the same level of just the way it looks. And I yank in a 6-pound fish 10 minutes into the morning, and the adrenaline spiked. My buddy's coming over to look at it, and it was like one of those catches that it wasn't anything that was revolutionary or 20 pounds or anything, but it was one of the coolest catches that I've ever had because I did not want to be there. I wanted to go sleep in my truck.
Yeah, those mornings were gorgeous, weren't they?
Amazing.
Go ahead.
What about you, Mari? What's yours? You catch a lot of fish. Caught 2024 last year.
Yeah.
Well,
catch 2025 this year. That's you set the hook
crazy
a ton.
I've caught over 10,000 in the last 5 years. 10,000 bass.
So out of that 10,000, what's your most
I don't
memorable?
have 10,000 in my.
I'm turning into the host here just because you catch so many fish.
Is that all on Post-it notes, Marty? You just mark them down?
Oh no, they're all on Tourney X. Every one of them's on Tourney X.
Yeah, nice.
Crazy.
If he would add all my inches up on there, because we don't judge them all. I mean, but if he had judged them all, there'd be a lot. Anyway, okay. Well, one of them was actually that 2024 one this year because I was kind of getting like, am I going to get it?
Oh, really?
But my most memorable catch was my PB on Possum Kingdom when Joe Camarino and I were on the same point, and Gussie the Canadian, we call him Gussie.
Yeah.
He was there.
Jeff,
Three of us. I found this other guy, Gussie. This another.
Oh, a different Gussie.
That's a guy we named Gussie because he was from Canada.
So is Jeff Gustafson.
Yeah. So, long story short, I found this a spot. They came up, and Joe and I kind of traded off on this spot there, and we were catching monsters. And I hook in. I thought I was snagged on the wall. There's a little seawall, and it started moving. And I go, "Oh my gosh, I've got one on!" And it was a 23-inch 0.25.
Nice,
giant. And then I caught a 22.75 the day before at a different area. And then I caught another one over 22, ended up with 196, I believe. And Joe I think he was over 200. I'm pretty sure. I can't remember. But we got second and third in the Bassmaster at Possum Kingdom. So that was my most memorable. And I never moved. I
didn't.
Hey, so
Marty, that's my second favorite lake, by the way.
Yeah. PK. So Marty, your PB is what? 23.25?
Yeah.
So that's making Chris nervous, but any audience out there, remember there's a question at the end of this, so maybe you think of that.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. So anyway,
I'm going to butt in a second, Marty. What I think is cool, though, those three stories, is it's not necessarily, to me, hearing those stories, like the numbers didn't really seem to matter to you guys. It was more like the experience, right?
Yeah.
who you're with, where
Yeah.
you're at, the
Yeah.
scenery. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think the beauty
that's
is what
fishing, man.
draws me to fishing. I
Yeah.
don't think there's a moment in my life that I am happier than a sunrise on the water. And
Yeah.
I try to tell my friends that are not into fishing, that are not outdoorsy, like I don't know if people get it.
Can't explain
Especially
it.
if you put a backdrop of a cypress tree swamp like Lake Caddo, it's almost indescribable how it feels.
If Caddo
Yeah, and-
Lake, that experience at Caddo Lake, you guys, if anybody has not fished
Incredible.
that's on here or watching, you have got to go to Caddo. I mean, yeah, it's like Deliverance in a way, but
It's creepy and borderline scary.
but the thing is when that, like, we took off in the dark, and then you come through the trees and the sunshine starting to show, and it's golden. I mean, just golden
Spanish
orange.
moss.
Yeah, Spanish moss hanging down, and then you hook into one. Oh my gosh!
And I'm lucky to be 3 miles from Possum Kingdom, or 2 hours from Possum Kingdom, 3
Yeah.
from Caddo, and they're just such amazingly beautiful places.
Yeah.
You're right. So thanks for asking that question, Austin. All right,
Yeah, that's awesome.
near the end here. What we need is a face-off, though, like, just because I'm going to get a screenshot.
So guys, last time, no, you're going the wrong way. I need you both to go this way. So you're both going the wrong way right now. Gerald, no, there you go.
There you go.
I'm going to get a screenshot of this.
Me
Do I
too.
need to move this all the way?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. See it's like UFC. Here we go. Ready?
Yeah, we want to mean face and fist higher. I can't see him. There you go. Higher. Gerald, closer to this
I
way.
actually did this for a living, so I do have practice at this.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
a professional boxer.
Okay. Here we go.
If your fist can go right through right now and hit him, that'd be awesome. No, but like pull him back.
Just hold him up.
Right there you go. A little higher, both of you.
Okay. Both look this way.
And an angry face. Perfect.
Man. I think.
Look this way. Look at us, though.
Oh, wait.
Show us your
Hold on.
pretty mugs.
Hold on. Stay there.
Ready?
Stay there.
This is great.
I got one.
Okay. Good. All right. We got a good one.
It wasn't set up anyways for the audience. It wasn't a setup.
All right. So anyway, we have a whole week of voting, and we'll keep promoting you guys, in this for people to vote. And we have no idea how anybody's doing. And
I'm sure Keith does.
If I make it to the next round, maybe I can stick a 10-pound catch in my video to get to the third
Oh,
round.
there you go. Yeah.
It
So
was 10-3. It was 10-3.
Swing the boat.
one more question. Oh, watch this. That was a crazy fight, Austin. Anyway, your favorite thing about this whole set, this whole Yakoff, what's your favorite thing about it, Gerald?
And you can't say it was meeting Keith because somebody already used that last week.
I think it's the same thing that has kept me so interested in the kayak fishing. It's the kayak fishing community.
Yeah.
A lot of the guys, I've known who they are, and maybe they've known who I am, and a few I do actually know. But now meeting more people and being able to say, hey, if you're ever in Dallas, let me know.
Yeah.
Or, people saying, if you're ever where I am, let me know.
Yeah.
And I think that's it's a lot different than even the boat community. The kayak fishing community is very close knit and willing to help and share information, because I think all of us realize most of us aren't paying our mortgage by this. Mm-hmm. So let's just enjoy ourselves and our time on the water.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Well said.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
I like what Keith has said, that as we're seeing different rigs, because 90% of kayak fishing is rigging. You have to rig twice every time you go fishing, or unrig. You got to rig it when you get to the ramp and de-rig it when you get off, and seeing what everybody's idea is, when they went into, rigging, and it just allows, like, I've seen a couple things from other people, just like, oh, that's kind of cool. I could maybe use that on a future build, or it just giving ideas out there. Just kind of what, as Keith has said, is like, it's giving people ideas to rig their boat out so that they can go out and make those memories that we're talking about. Because I literally told my buddy while we were out fishing the other day, I said, I don't know what people do in life that don't do the outdoors. Like, and how do you not do it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So one little thing here, Keith, you might enjoy this too, is my key accessory it was over 20 years ago. Had a Wilderness Ride 135, It was just after the year 2000, and I had a sonar unit that you could see little specks on it because I just wanted to see where the bottom was.
Yep.
But transducer was on a wire, and if I held it over the side of the kayak, it would dangle and move all over the place. So you know what I used to keep it stable? And I have a picture of it somewhere back in the archives.
2x4.
What's that?
A 2x4.
A snorkel. I took a snorkel tube and I put it over the side, and I can't remember how I attached it, but I pulled that wire up and that transducer up snug underneath there, and that kept it stable, and so I could see what was underneath me. I just wanted to check.
See?
Because
And if you would have, instead of teaching kids and being a principal and an administrator, you could have gone into business and been
who knows?
an entrepreneur.
Thank
God you didn't, because now you're stuck here talking to us.
Yes, it was not meant to be. But those are the things we did, because before that I would take a weight and just like use the weight to find where the edge was on rocks on my pole. I just drag it until it dropped, and I knew that was that. But that's before sonar. I didn't have the paper things or anything like that. But and then before that we had the what is that, the circle, the ice fishing one,
Flasher.
Flashers.
I had a flasher as a kid on my Zodiac boat, but that's how I used my transducer was in a snorkel, a neon green snorkel pipe thing on there.
So it's at finest.
Yeah.
And then of course there's a video out there I made many years ago on how to make a stern light for less, I don't know, like $3 or $2, I don't know.
Flashlight in a bottle.
Yeah, I took those lawn solar powered lights and put it in a PVC and foam, and then put it in my kayak, and that's how I made my stern light, which would not be legal today, but
it would be in Canada.
Would be?
Oh yeah, we don't have rules.
You don't have rules up there. Okay. All right. Okay, so let's kind of wind it down here. Anybody else got any questions?
I just want to say thanks so much, first of all, for you guys for joining this, and Chris and Hoodoo for sponsoring and being a part of the whole Yakoffs, and especially for the grand prize. It's getting everyone so excited for voting and earning extra entries and stuff like that. And Austin and Gerald, good luck this week, pumping out on socials, and everybody follow them. Marty, so much, 100% thanks. So this podcast idea was not part of the whole deal. It came out after we started talking last Monday. And now Marty's all over it. Yeah, our Zoom call. And now we've got Marty hooked up with Chris and getting his own Impulse 120 Hoodoo, and got the doggy paddle, and about 74 other kayaks were given away from Hoodoo. Chris doesn't know yet.
Oh, slow down.
Anyone who shows up at the Houston Boat Show this weekend, free kayaks at the Hoodoo booth.
And we have our prize to give away. Yes. Also, I do want to plug Thursday night. I feel like a professional podcaster now, even though I'm not.
There you go.
But I'm doing about every night anymore, it seems like. Thursday night, we're going to have Austin's dad, Chad Hoover, on the kayak fishing story. And that's our fourth in a series. And so that could be a pretty good show, too, to find out how Chad started all this when he started.
That's part of the history of kayak fishing series, right?
Yes, that's our kayak fishing series. Now, there's other ones in between that, but that's in its own series, is the kayak fishing story. And hopefully there's a book out someday that somebody might read. We don't read books anymore, mostly audio, I know, but still we're trying to document the history of kayak fishing, guys.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
With everybody doing it. So that's Thursday night at 7:30. Same, and it's already out there on YouTube.
Eastern or Central?
It is 7:30 Central Time.
Yeah.
Austin, feel free to go on there and say, no, that's not true.
I'll be there.
Okay. And then, anyway.
Time for this giveaway, Marty.
Yeah.
How many people we got in here watching?
I don't know. There's on YouTube too, so I don't know. There could be.
All right, so I think the question of the day to win your own Guardian Angel light kit should be, what is Marty's PB bass size in inches?
Man. Let's see if anybody answers. First one to answer.
He said it about 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, I did.
He's pretty proud of it.
We'll see.
Austin and Gerald and Chris, you're not allowed to vote.
I think I forgot the
That's a years
the fragment of inches already. I remember the big number.
Starts with a 2.
Oh, here it is.
There it is.
Tanya. Is it this? I don't know how to pronounce her name, but Tanya.
Tanya.
Oh, Tanya. Jennifer,
She
you
got
were,
it?
Yeah, Tanya got it though. She got it.
You got it? Tanya was the same one that was talking about the kayak cushion over the back or over the front of the seat.
So Tanya and Jennifer, you were so close. Jennifer, when I see you, I will give you a free bag of Nico button heads. How about that for a
Or
compliment?
just go down to the Houston Boat Show and Chris will throw you a kayak.
He's right. Nico's right next door to me. So.
Oh, it's Tanya. It's Tanya.
Tanya, sorry.
So Tanya, message you?
I need you to give me these addresses so I can get them shipped to you.
So Tanya, message me on Facebook or email me at kayakjaknebraska@gmail.com. I'll get your address and he will ship you one. How about that? Jordan, I did not catch 40.25, but I'd love to.
Yeah.
So there you go, guys. Thank you for being here. And next week, we'll have another one. Good luck, you guys. This week, votes.
Watch their socials, guys, and watch Kayak Angler and everything else. And
may the best rig win.
Yeah. And thanks,
Good
Chris, for sponsoring this bracket and all you've been doing for the kayak fishing community, man. We appreciate it. And good people.
Yeah.
Gerald, I hope that we meet up in Texas here soon. I'm headed down there for the classic.
I'll be there.
I'll
be in the Mariner booth.
All right.
He's in southern Oklahoma. Cool. That's Plano's southern Oklahoma. That's barely Texas.
It's like 15 minutes from downtown Dallas to my house.
Yeah. Okay. All right, guys.
Hey guys, thanks so much. Everybody have a great night.
All right.
Yeah. Thanks.